Hey, look, I did something right. I guarantee nothing. Everybody ready to do a show?
I'm ready.
I'm waiting for people to say aye, aye, Captain. I'm not getting it. Let's just start it.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Tanner's Haunted Secrets
on the Outline Network. What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
This is Maximus Christian Bryant with the Ohio Haunters Association, president, and you are watching Chainer's Haunted Secrets on the Owl Light Network.
Yes, you are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I am super excited, but yet a little sad. Friday is on vacation, and usually she just absolutely loves doing this show. So I had to bring in Steven. Steven.
Hello.
Welcome to the co-captain chair here with me. And then we also have, this is the second time that she's been on the show. And I'm really glad to have her return. And you know what? I was trying to figure out what to do with this show. But, you know, as soon as I realized we are almost at that time of the year, not hot season, but we're almost at that time of year where everybody's starting to get into the wonderful feel of garage sales, swap meets, this and that. I just was so excited that here's Connie. She's going to try something new. Connie, can you do me a favor? Explain to me and everybody what is going on at that wonderful Forsaken Forest if you don't do enough.
Well, we're trying something new. We're going to do our first annual haunt swap. And so the idea stemmed from there's a thing called like a ski swap that happens at Perfect North that used to be yearly. Not sure if they still do it, where everyone kind of met with their old gear, new gear, buy, sell, trade kind of deal. And I wanted to bring that to the haunt industry. So as many of us do, we go to Transworld and we buy all these things and sometimes come back to no room. And there's props that are dying in our garages or whatever. And I just wanted to bring everyone together to have the opportunity to, you know, someone's old used prop is someone's brand new treasure and highlight of their haunt. So I wanted to bring not only the community together, but be able to be resourceful and be able to trade those items, buy new items, and benefit everybody. And not only does that give everyone new material, it lets everyone network and become closer. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. And it's also open to antique vendors, people who have weird, fun objects, even vendors that are Halloween oriented, just something to get everyone together to, you know, stock our haunts with cool new scenes.
And that's one of the biggest things right there. You absolutely hit a nail on the head. We were just talking about before we start this. who would be some of the people that would want to be going to this? And, honestly, I like thrift stores. I'm in the haunt industry. Thrift stores are friends. Goodwills are friends. Any place, those are friends to us. So why is it a good idea that grandma just cleans out her garage and just brings it to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that puts everyone in the same space to find new things, get rid of old things that are taking room so you can have these new things and at an affordable price. I think there's a lot of us that start out, and if you're not familiar with the haunt industry, but you're breaking in, you find out very quick this is a very expensive thing to do. And so getting to bring life to props that may have been going towards the trash can at a discounted rate can really just benefit everybody and make it more affordable for people to join in, or even other haunters. Like, I know some of us are putting costumes into the sale, or masks, or new props, and that might be something really beneficial to someone who's an actor who's really wanting to up their look, but they don't have the trans world money or whatever that may be. I think it just makes it affordable. It gets everyone together. I'm hoping it's a really good thing.
See, I know I'm going to be there, and I'm really glad. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring a table. I'm going to bring stuff. And the things that I'm going to bring is not exactly the items as much as information. And this is a really good place for you to get a little more information, not just on one haunt or different stuff, but I'm bringing in lists from OHA. That way we can go ahead and disperse those lists of people being around this neck of the woods. I mean, I would love to see Indiana have something that would be like that too. I don't know if you guys have any lists, or one of the people around you have a list of the haunts around you in Indiana.
I mean, that might be something we could look at, because I know at Forsaken we've talked about like having a billboard with other haunts in our area, and just kind of, we talked about at the OHA meeting that you guys wanted to start something as well. So that was something that we had kind of also talked about, in the sense of like, you walk through nature trails and they have all the pamphlets with a map of the park. Well, we kind of wanted to do the same thing, but with the tri-state. And then if haunts had discounts or flyers or coupons, whatever they're doing, a QR code, they could put that with this billboard. I don't know if that's a this year thing. I would love for it to be a this year thing, but I think that what you guys are doing kind of facilitates that. I don't think Indiana has anything. This is my first time in the industry being out of Ohio, so I haven't really dove into how much Indiana has or doesn't have right now, but that might be something maybe Forsaken needs to start.
So I'm just going to say, Forsaken is one of the haunts that I keep on hearing come out of every other haunt's mouth. Yes. And I know you've been excited about it. And in fact, when you guys went to Transworld, you guys were able to go to a haunted house, and
we did.
You guys were shocked to hear people actually going, "Oh, you're Forsaken."
All the way in Missouri, like we're an hour outside of St. Louis, and they're like, "You're Forsaken. We've heard all about you." And we all were like, "What? Like, that's crazy. We've gotten that far." It was a really cool experience, and it just put this pride through our team. It was really cool.
Which is absolutely amazing. I think that everybody that I've met from your crew has been a wonderful person. Now, with this swap meet, what is something that you are absolutely starting to encourage that you want to see this year, or you want to see next year?
So for the swap meet, really the goal this year is to get the info out about it and kind of show people what we're trying to do. And I expect that number to grow steadily. I would like it to become the big thing. Like, everyone goes to Transworld every year. Well, now I want them to offload then at the haunt swap to make room for those new exciting things. So what I would like to see this year is to make those connections. I've thrown around the idea of maybe like grandfathering in everyone that comes this year into a lower price in case our prices do rise. I'd like to honor those who kind of helped us get it going. But really this year it's about marketing the event, teaching people what it's about, and bringing everyone together.
And since this is going to be the first year, it's really interesting to see how many people you will have come, how many people you will have on your vendor list, how many people this and that. Because when you start one of these, I will absolutely be serious. I've seen these things in different parts. Cleveland's got one that is the haunted garage sale and one that is a swap meet. It's 2 different times of the year, but they absolutely have to grow. So I'm going to say, don't get discouraged on the first year. It might meet your expectations. It might be smaller, but just getting the word out on it is one of those key factors. If anyone is trying to start one of these, just remember your first year is going to be your hardest one. But one of the things that you absolutely have to listen to is the people that come and the people that are setting up, because these people want to see what you guys will get into as much as anybody else.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is like there's so much to learn from your vendors and your customers, and that's something I like to do even at the haunt, like with our customers or vendors there. I usually do a check-in, a surveying, you know, what are we doing well, what are we not doing, how do we get this better? I've actually put on our website for our haunt a customer feedback portal that's like what scene rocked, what didn't. Like I read all the Google things, but I want them to like, this is their haunt. And so, you know, our customers, I want them to have that buy-in of this is their haunt. What can we do different for you? And I'd like to see the same in all of our off-season events that we're talking about. We have a lot of really cool ideas for off-season events, but we're kind of taking it slow. So we're throwing one this year. As we get more things put in place, more will come.
So now I got a question. What happens if, say, I am just a person that just found out about this? Do you guys have rooms still available?
We do, yeah. We have a pretty decent sized space for what we're doing. So, I mean, there's definitely room. I would love to see a bunch more applications come in. I think there's plenty of room right now. People are actively signing up. So I would definitely get that application in sooner rather than later. And I am prioritizing like those that have applied and have reached out through Facebook. I've asked for, you know, sneak peeks of items they're bringing or their company name or whatever. And you're going to see this week that start coming out in our Facebook page of like, hey, we're going to highlight this vendor, you know, come out, buy their things. And we've made it free to the public, which could be shooting us in the foot. But the goal with that was we want people to come buy all your stuff. We want you to not have to leave with anything. We will have a dumpster service that, like, if there's something that you genuinely hate that item and it didn't sell, you can pitch it, not have to haul it home. But we would like you to sell everything. So we're making it free to the public to come in. And the vendor prices are really low. It's like $20 if you're bringing anything like 6-foot table, 10 by 10, anything in those size realms. And then like $40 for something bigger. We also have table and chair rentals available for like $6.
That's awesome. So one of the things that I used to do in the spring, and I used to love doing this, and it was called, well, actually it was Memorial Day weekend. Me being a kid, my dad would get me out of school on Friday. I'm guilty as charged. We would go to a thing called the Coon Dog Trials in Kenton, Ohio. And what they did was they had all these vendors. Yeah, they would charge you for a weekend pass. I know that you guys are doing this for a day, but Kenton, they had to start somewhere also.
I would love it to get big enough to need a whole weekend. That would be phenomenal.
So one of the things that I absolutely loved about Kenton, and something that you might put in your head, was they had a policy that if you could carry it, you could carry it to swap it. As in, like, people could bring stuff that were customers going to find stuff. And the rule of thumb, I love the rule of thumb. If you buy something, get rid of that price tag instantly, because someone might see it in your hands. And you could play it like, man, this is so heavy, and you could you know, possibly upcharge it. But yeah, I mean, Ken and Coon Dog Trials was really awesome. I remember that from childhood, and I'm hoping that yours is going to be something that takes off like this, because, you know, if you have, if you have one prop or you have one thing and you just happen to be there, it's nice to be able to possibly swap it.
Yeah, and that would be cool too. The other thing is like with vendors or people coming to set up, I would like to say like the advantage to that is from 9 to 11, these vendors are talking to each other and they're starting to make those little trades and whatever with each other. So get in here, be a vendor and get those early bird deals.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like a wonderful thing. I mean, like I said, I might not be exactly trying to sell everything, just getting information out about the haunt industry. And
which
that is one of the things.
Everybody.
Absolutely. When you're talking about haunt houses, you get people talking about this or that, and it just seems like a really wonderful thing because if you get people talking, then they'll start talking about other haunts and they'll start talking about other haunts.
Well,
and that's one of the greatest things.
One of the newer trends I'm seeing, like with the haunt industry, and it was talked a lot about at Transworld, is some haunts are realizing I don't have to be open every day of September and October. Here's my key days, and that's what I'm going to stick with. And they're using these off days for like going to other haunts and team building with their crew. And I know our haunt's going to implement something a little similar. We're not going to do maybe the first 2 Fridays in September, and we're going to use those nights to take our entire crew to a haunt. So we're bringing 70 people to a haunt. And so, I mean, that's something to keep in mind too. If they have this info and these lists in hand, they can go, "Ooh, these 4 are hittable in a night."
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's huge. That's marketing that, you know, the haunts aren't having to pay for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, there's just so much that's coming down the pipes with a haunt house industry.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is something that will help you guys introduce yourself into the haunted house community even more than what you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you now, you guys have absolutely been hitting it out of the park on many different things.
That makes me happy.
I'm not lying. Trust me. When I'm hearing stuff, and this is from my experience with you guys, people have been talking to me about Forsaken Forest. And I don't know if it's the name rolling off their tongue so easily, or if it's what you guys have slowly been accomplishing. I mean, I've met your owner, I've met your staff members, your security guys, this and that, and they all have a positive we can do attitude. And it's mostly not just we can do, it is no,
we're going to get it done.
We're going to get it done, and we're going to show you what we got coming up next. And that's one of the biggest things.
I think our hardest trial was the OVH party that was hosted at our place. I mean, that was crazy. There was a lot of legwork for us in that one.
Once again, another thing that I just could not swing. And I wish I had more time in my year. But a day only has 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, our crew was like cooking from like 5 a.m. the day before all the way up to the party. Like, and there was so much that went into it. And then the pressure of like, these are our peers. These are people that, you know, are coming and have high expectations. They're doing this themselves. And there was just such a passion behind wanting to impress everyone and create that positive industry. Because I think that was something that the haunt industry got away from a bit, was everyone was like, got to keep the torch, you know, to myself. And now I think we're seeing that open back up into like passing the torch to each other and becoming more positive. And we just really want to be a pinnacle for that.
Yeah, I can say that I have been part of haunts where they will lock down every secret that they have.
Yeah.
And then I've been part of haunts that are just like, oh, try this. Here, try that.
I think you have to pass that torch, because when you stop and you're shielding it, you stop growing too.
Right. And that's one of the things. I mean, some of the crazy ideas I've ever come across is because someone looks at me and goes, hey, I have an idea. It's not fitting my character. Right. Maybe one of your characters can. And my biggest thing is I will absolutely try it. And in fact, I guarantee I'm going to be grabbing something else here in the next couple of days. That way I can get it ready for Hell's Dungeon.
Yeah. Well, I really like this saying, there's no new ideas. There's 2 original ideas put together to become something new. And I really like that. I mean, when you're taking other people's feedback and putting it with your own and creating this new thing, I mean, there's a beauty in that. But if you decide that everything's yours to keep secret, I mean, you'll stop growing.
I'll tell you, I always thought it was funny how people's like, oh, you know, I have this great idea. And it's like, okay, hit me with it. And they say it, and it's like, okay, so here, let me go ahead and show you. It's over there. It didn't work out, but if you want to rework it, let's rework it.
Yeah, or here's where I failed with it. Maybe you have the better audience. And I think that's something else is like every haunts community is so different. You've got the communities where the community hates them, wants them out. You've got some where they're very accepting. Or you've got things where, like, I know there was a haunt at Trans World preaching, like, don't ever post those $5 off coupons. They don't work. You're wasting your money. Stop doing it. Well, in our community, they worked really well and they came back and everyone had them and wanted more of them. And so I think there's some truth to that too, is everyone's different.
You know, I'm pretty sure I know who this person is now. Just because that comment. Pretty sure. But I can say, yeah, that's absolutely true. I know a couple of people that their kids are really, really starting to get into haunt industry, and now their kids are trying to figure out how to make animatronics or how they actually operate to begin with.
We're actually thinking about doing a youth program, almost like a summer camp, to get kids in the industry without crossing that line of it being too much or not enough.
Wait, Mario! Just so you know, March 10th is Mario Day.
What?
And I want you to know, and Mario Day is March 10th because if you take Mario and you spell it all in capitalization, it looks like March 10th. So that's Mario. Awesome. In fact, at Trans World, I stopped at a convenience store and I got milk. And when I got milk, the expiration day on it was March 10th. And I said, oh boy, I got Mario milk. And everybody in my room looked at me like I'm mentally disturbed.
Right. You're like, look.
I'm just saying. March 10th, Mario Day.
That's funny. Sophia
April 10th, Sophia Dia. Also, Ivy Day. March 10th, tomorrow is Ivy Day.
My cousin's from Romania and they have like all the different saints' names and it's like a major party. Like there's an Andrew Day, there's a Mary Day. And like if you have that name, you take the day off school, you go get crazy.
Well, tomorrow will be officially 7 years that I have had a daughter that has successfully survived. I say that because it is a survival rate that only 2 children have made it because I've only had 2 children.
Yeah.
But dealing with me, it is a magical moment. I can be very strict. I love my children. And I want to beat them with sticks sometime.
I think there's a lot of us like that.
Yeah. But no, I want to get back to this before we go and do a whole squirreling episode because we're pretty good at squirreling.
I'm certified squirrel.
So let's go and say, what is your idea for this in the next 3 years? Because I've always said you don't look at a project and say this is a one and done. It has to be a 3-year project.
Yeah, so that's kind of part of the marketing is like the first annual. I would like to see this grow exponentially, and I would really like it to become a tradition for those in the tri-state or even like countrywide. Now, countrywide, that's probably going to take 5 to 7 years, whatever it's going to be. I would love it to be sooner, but I think as far as 3 years go, I would love for this to be a tri-state thing with the haunt community and see some of these, thrift stores setting up, these antique stores setting up, and making this thing that like everyone's coming together to fuel the haunt industry. And I think I'm really aiming for that post-trans world, or the in-between of like St. Louis and East Coast. But I would like to see it just really grow to be a tri-state tradition that you come, you offload this, and you're maybe even squaring things away through the season. Like, well, that didn't go out this year. It's time to take it to the swap. So I'd like that to be just a tradition for the haunts.
Right. And that sounds like a great thing. It really does. There's just so many things. I'm excited to see what this is going to turn out to be this year. I want to see what it's going to be next year. Now, this year is kind of weird because it is the day before the Easter Bunny chucks eggs at small children.
I know.
But it's not going to be that same thing next year because Easter moves around.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I had been used to it being like late March. Here, buddy. I had been used to like it being late March, and so when I look on my calendar and I'm like scanning March, like where am I missing this? And then I see it in April. I'm like, oh no.
Right.
I should have known. My birthday is April 23rd, and so I've had an Easter birthday before, and I should have known. Here, see.
And that's one of the things, Lolly, her birthday has been April 1st, and Easter's fallen on that day. So you really never know when it's going to... Okay, if you pick up the calendar, you'll look at it and know. But it's not hardwired in our brain because this is the one holiday that travels around worse than a squirrel through a maze.
Yeah, it has such a far jump. It's crazy.
But yeah, I'm excited to see. Now why I'm talking to you, I'm trying to scroll through and I cannot find the Haunters, the Cleveland Haunters Club's dates on theirs. I know we were talking about it. I know I've seen pictures of it, that it's coming up. So I'm hoping that
No. Happy early birthday.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out when it is because honestly, if you go to one, it's awesome to go to another one just to see, who's there.
Us Haunters are like that.
Are you guys considering doing a hearse drive-in?
That actually has come across our idea board kind of thing. We talked about like a normal just car show drive-in thing. We've talked about a hearse show. We called it so we have a first responders weekend, and then we were highlighting a last responders weekend, and then the hearse club kind of like backed away, or they had something the same weekend. Something happened or it didn't happen, but we were calling it last responders weekend.
Well, perhaps this would be something that you guys could call them up and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Would you like to do this in the future and attach this to that?
And it would be a lot less stressful to have that in the off season.
Right, exactly. I'm just going with what everybody else does and this and that.
Yeah.
If you do a special part with haunt vehicles, you might get haunt vehicles that are able to come in.
Yeah.
It's just something that, we're in the off season right now. It's a lot easier to go to these things. It's a lot easier to advertise. It's a lot easier to try trading the stuff. I mean, I know a lot of haunts.
Bring a hearse to sell. That'd be really cool.
Right. But
there's actually like a hearse dealership near our haunt.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah, so there's lots of different things. Steven, you got anything on this point?
Well, I did find your haunted garage sale And it is August 9th.
Is that for Cleveland?
That's the one at Avon, in Avon, which is put on by the Cleveland Hunt Club.
Yep, there we go.
That's when a lot of us are in the thick of it, getting ready.
Yeah, it is kind of late. Because I know Circleville does one too in mid-July, like June or July.
Well, yes and no. They did last year, and I was able to go. Unfortunately, circumstances stopped it. So Circleville will not be having theirs. And I feel really bad because, but things had happened where they were not able to make it happen this year. And I'm hoping that they say, we would like to redo it. But yeah, we went to Circleville with OHA last year, and it was pretty amazing just seeing how many people was actually in there. That one is not exactly geared towards haunts.
Yeah, it's a Halloween show.
When I say that, there was more cutesy wootsy little Boo figurines.
It's like a fall show or something.
Yeah, it's not even a fall show. It's geared around what you would expect Grandma and Grandpa to put out on their display table.
Yeah, because it's Halloween. It's a Halloween type show, but it's got like a lot of 3D fake printed stuff and a lot of basically a lot of stuff I expect to see at a horror movie convention, kind of like a lot of crafts and things like that. But no, I'm loving this. I love the idea because, like you said, there's not much of this out there.
Yeah.
For major haunt or not even for smaller haunts, home haunters and that, because home haunters especially would benefit from, going to a show like this, buying what they need for their home haunts and that.
Right.
And just trading and swapping and things like it. It's like I said, I think it's a great idea.
I think you just hit something really big on the head right there. Yeah, we've been talking about haunt industry very much so, but this absolutely, I feel like the home haunters right there, that would be really odd. How many times as a home haunter have you went and said, you know what? I have so much stuff that I've built through the years. I need to get rid of something. And you know what? You're covering your face. You know where I'm going with this. And
the whole
thing
corner of this room has Christmas decor stacked away because my entire garage that can fit 3 or 4 cars is just Halloween, and I have nowhere to put the Christmas now.
That's even funnier. But this would be a good possibility that people could empty out their garage or whatever and be able to vend it. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like a little extra cash? That way you can spend it on something more.
And to have something that I'm probably going to sell today, not sitting on Facebook Marketplace for 3 months and then trying to weed through all the interested, not interested people.
And another thing I will point out is one of the things that absolutely kills me is right now on Facebook, you're not going to find items.
Yeah.
But when you're getting into September, it is packed full of so much stuff. And it's like, why didn't you try selling this earlier? Because if you would have tried selling it earlier, it would have been so much easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You would have had the time to go get it or sell it or whatever. Like, people are in the thick of it then. And that's why I was like, when he had mentioned August 9th, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's our rush season. Like we're working hard, but there's also benefit in that. It's like, well, I know I missed this or I totally overlooked this in my, scene plan to build. And I'm looking for this item that they might go to that one and find it.
I'm just going to tell you right now, you said in the thick of it and my brain went straight to into the thick of it, into the thick of it. And I'm like, ugh. I hope you just destroyed my entire thought process just saying today in the thick of it.
Not only did you certified squirrel.
Not only did you destroy that for me, you rewrote my brain and I didn't hear a single thing that you said. Thank goodness I can rewatch this entire show because you just said into the thick of it and I'm done.
A half-hour show.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. I want to see you guys as much as I want to see everybody else do well. This is in my neck of the woods. Well, it's in 2 hours of my neck of the woods.
Okay, so it's closer to us then, because we're only like an hour away from Richmond.
I live 2.5 hours from the haunt, but yeah, we're not far from Dayton. We're like the New Paris, Richmond line. So like we can stand on our property and hit Ohio with a rock.
Let's not.
We've been really successful. I know who this is. We've been really successful with our parades, actually. We got 3 awards this year. We kept winning like best or judge's choice or most unique, whatever. But like the parades were honestly one of our biggest marketing things. People came back saying, we saw the billboards, we saw you in the parade, or we saw your social media. Not one person said they heard us on the radio. So we're working the marketing plan.
So now that we're bringing parades up, I have to ask you, do you travel for parades, and how far do you travel?
We've talked about being in the parades down here in Brown County, which would be 2 hours from the haunt. We didn't do it because they ended up doing it on a weekend in September, and we were open. So far, we've gone about an hour out. We're open to doing more this year because we're more aggressive with it. But like when we did parades this year, we stayed within that hour mark because we had 2 trucks and trailers and then a monster truck on a trailer, and we had a hearse. So we had a very hefty, and like a crew of motorcycle people. So we had a pretty hefty like span that we had to get there and get set up. And we had over 30 people walking with us. We actually had a killer clown playing electric guitar live. So there was a lot going on, but we're open to doing whatever. We will go as far as we can. We really enjoy it.
So now that we're bringing this up, what's the possibility of and I you can look this up, Minster Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the biggest in the state of Ohio. Yes, it is on a Sunday. Yes, it is on a Sunday, the first Sunday of October.
We've done Sundays.
But we're actually going to talk to Minster Oktoberfest and see if we can get a OHA registry. That way it goes underneath OHA, and we can add as many vehicles as we want, because they actually have had the Shriners, and they've had the Shriners, the chapter. This parade is big enough that they've had the Budweiser Clydesdales.
Oh my God, I love those.
So it is in talks.
Yeah.
We got to talk to Minster and tell them, hey, we want to set up in this lot. Can you help us do that? And if they say, yeah, we're going to invite as many haunts to bring their vehicles. And I know
that would be awesome.
My haunt has been in it, and there's pros and cons to this one. And the reason I say that is because they like to see the stuff, but when it comes down to it, they like to see a fraction of the stuff.
Oh.
And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of kids, and they want to keep it kid friendly.
So we are very cautious about that in what we bring, because we don't want to be that like turning our crowds away. We like to.
Right.
I mean, we include our staff's children in parades. That's one thing that we do to kind of help with that.
But yeah, I mean, this will absolutely. I've already talked to a couple of different people, and I even told the wonderful president of OHA he just needs to show up, and he can ride in a car. But there's going to be our trailer's going to go back into it, along with our monsters that get a hide in the back of the trailer. You actually look in the back of the trailer to see what we've got going there. I'm hoping to get the spring-loaded monster that's in there.
We bring our it's actually from my home haunt thing that we do. We bring our 12-foot clown and put it on a trailer, so it ends up being like 16 foot. So I'm like panicking every parade, like staring at power lines because it's a little tall.
Right.
It's fun.
Yeah. So if that's a possibility, we'll get in contact a little more. But
so we've actually done Donkey Ball opening weekend on a Sunday. So after we get through our opening weekend on a Sunday, we did Donkey Ball with basically actors versus management, or we had a fun little team of Forsaken Forest people doing Donkey Ball. And I won't get heated on this podcast, but the way that went down, we will redeem ourselves this year. We got to the final, and here's where it didn't go right is the people that played the game before us to get into the finals were already on the field. So they got to run and take all the good donkeys before they called us up, and then they refused to give us one. We're like, can you at least trade us one? Like, can we have one that we know is good? Like, let's be fair. And they told us no. So we will redeem ourselves this year. It's going to be a good time. But yeah.
I feel like the way that should get played is everybody has to leave and re-enter the field.
That's what we said. Or do in the finale, you pick a donkey, you pick a donkey. Like, because at that point, everyone knows what donkeys are great and what aren't. And then they shot the basketball from the floor, not on their donkey. And that really made me mad. Oh, I'm competitive. Like, that was not a good game for me. Like, it took some calming down time to recover.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, so while I got you on here, we know that we're coming into off season, but we're going to come into middle of the year.
We're 5 months out from haunt season.
So is there any halfway to Halloween events that you are wanting to go to?
I haven't dove into it too far, so I am currently looking at going to Trans World again. That's just going to be like me and my significant other, probably, maybe the owners. It's a really small group. So, I mean, I'm kind of doing that for April and getting to visit Field of Screams and Hershey Park. So I'm super excited about that. But as far as like going to anything, I haven't looked into it too deep, but next year I would like to host a halfway to Halloween. The haunt swap kind of is my halfway to Halloween thing for our haunt this year. But next year, Forsaken might be pulling a halfway to Halloween stunt. We shall see.
Okay. Yeah. I know that Haunted Town Hall in Lafayette near Lima, they are going to be open June 13th, which is Friday the 13th, and June 14th. I know where I'll be on the 14th. I'll be probably in the kitchen chasing people with toilet bowl plungers. You laugh, but I make some good cooking with that toilet bowl plunger.
Is that gonna be Hell's Dungeon again?
No, I don't think I brought my toilet. Yeah, I have brought my toilet bowl plunger to Hell's Dungeon. But
yes, I remember the toilet bowl plunger.
I am thinking about visiting Hell's Dungeon next weekend. We shall see. I've never been.
So I will tell you now, one of the key factors here actually told me I need to scroll down here. And you know what? We're going to watch a 30-minute clip real quick.
I love that.
So I'm just going to point out, and I made a comment. I was like, what is up with the happy feelings? The happy feelings.
They're pretty happy.
the music is a happy feeling. And I told him, I said, what's up with that? And he said, you know what? We're trying to get people happy to be here.
You have to disrupt the norm. You have to make people say why. Oh, that's a good clip for it.
Well, I mean, my haunt's design for our logo has been the same for a very long time, and it's been absolutely why do you have a smiley face? And I will tell you right now, because it's for every haunt actor I have that scares somebody. The people that are running through are not smiling, but we are when we're chasing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was really something different when that came, and I was like, oh, okay. But you know what? They're going to be open on the 19th and the 20th.
18th and 19th.
18th and 19th. Yeah, I was like, wait, the 20th. No, that's not right.
Yeah,
and
Sunday. That's Easter.
We very rarely open on a Sunday, and I'm pretty sure a place called Hell's Dungeon open on Easter would have a protest outside.
You know what? There's a protest on Walmart eggs. So why not have a protest?
Hey, sometimes that's some good PR.
Look, I've got a picture from the horror movie convention a couple weeks ago with me in my Hell's Dungeon t-shirt or sweatshirt taking a picture with Jesus Christ.
That's great.
Oh, wait, hold on here. Now that we're talking about Easter here, let me ask you, did you guys by any chance hear the biggest unhappy thing that Walmart accidentally did?
No.
The confetti eggs.
Yeah, they were showing a dozen of confetti eggs for $1 something.
Yeah.
No, it was like $1.88 for the confetti eggs. Okay, here's the kicker: people were rushing to Walmart to get eggs at $1.88. They were getting them home and realizing that these are not chicken eggs.
Oh no.
It says confetti eggs on the packages. I mean, it says everything. And the thing is, I don't think it was just a 12 pack. I think it was a 18 pack.
It was, and the weird thing too is that they were not in a cooler or any kind of refrigerated area. They were on a pallet right in the produce section.
Yep, absolutely.
What?
As soon as you came in the door, there is this pallet of these, and people are just going wild over them. And then they come to realize that they're not chicken eggs. These people are absolutely upset about this enough that they were demanding real eggs for that price. Yeah. Right now the egg prices are pretty high. They're starting to come down, and I'm sorry for anybody that does not have parents that have chickens. I do.
The only thing that saved me was Wick for a hot minute.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a friend who has chickens, and he was selling us like a dozen for $2.99. So we were good.
Yeah, I got lucky. I think wasn't it up to like $6? They're crazy.
They were up to $6 in some places. It wasn't a common number there. And I will point out, when you're coming down and you're looking at chicken, eggs, and this and that, this bird flu, if they find it, they actually have to shut down that area where the chickens are, the chicken house. They actually have to shut that down for 6 months.
I thought they have to kill the whole flock too.
They do. Yeah, they do. But they cannot introduce new chickens in there for 6 months. And on top of that, then you have to finally, after 6 months, get these other chickens that are in there. Chickens don't lay eggs for 6 months. But what they were doing was they were raising chickens in safe areas. And as soon as they would they would get them in a safe area, and they got to 6 months, they only had to wait maybe 3 months. Yeah. So 9 months for you to get the chickens back up and running, and everybody couldn't figure out why the eggs were going nuts. And this whole thing has been blamed on everything from the snow carrying it from one chicken coop to another.
Yeah.
to pigeons that were eating stuff and this and that and transporting it to the Canada geese doing stuff. I mean, they have put so much time and effort into it. But yeah, I don't know why we got into chicken eggs right now, but this is a haunt show and we're talking about eggs.
Because Hell's Dungeon had to put out a happy video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but there's no excuse for this. I know that wasn't a very good
One
joke.
little video.
I mean, it is technically Easter. You're going to get chocolate eggs and all that kind of good stuff. So, I mean, it kind of fits in.
So what you're saying is diabetes.
Yes, pretty much, yes.
Yes, okay. But I will tell you, since we're almost right there at Easter, let me ask you, what's your favorite Easter candy?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh, Cadbury eggs.
Dude,
Oh my god.
Cadbury eggs was my crack back in the day.
Yes.
When I could actually eat Cadbury eggs and not worry about my doctor wanting to chase me down.
That's the trick. You just don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, I have a CDL. I have to go to the doctor.
I know.
You'll lose that one. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, I do like the Cadbury eggs. I like the Reese cup eggs.
What about robin eggs? Anybody eat robin eggs anymore?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have never been a fan of like the milk ball things, so I'm not.
Okay.
Now I will say we used to have these molds when I was younger. These like egg molds that my mom and grandma would make these Jello eggs, and I always thought that was the coolest thing ever.
You know, years ago I went to a haunt, and it was their rotting tail,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cute.
and I loved their rotting tail revenge. There was a guy that was in there, and he was taking his little basket, and he was handing out little chocolate eggs. And it's like, oh, well, that's nice. And he goes, yeah, get those nasty things out here. And he took his hand and he grabbed all the grass and just shoved it in his mouth. And I'm like, no.
Did he get like the bubblegum grass? That's hilarious.
I didn't know there was even such a thing as edible grass.
Yeah.
I was horrified knowing that is strips of plastic that you are going to put through your gut. And I was like, man, you got some serious gonads for doing that. Holy crap.
Yeah, talk about passion.
Then somebody told me, he's like, hey, we need to go to Walmart. I said, what for? And he showed me edible grass. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better. I really thought that guy was just condemning himself to a very terrible bowel movement.
For the bit.
You ever seen the dog that got something stuck? Yeah, that was going to be this guy.
My dog ate a ton of plastic grocery bags when I was little. That's what that
And
makes
you're
me think of.
just watching it, and you're like, I don't want to pull that out.
No, I was
You
like,
got
you're on
this.
your own.
Yeah, that's why I thought this guy was going to be. Seriously, I really was horrified at this guy, and then somebody showed me. I was like, oh, okay, now I don't feel so bad. He's like, yeah,
That's funny.
there is a type of sugar that you can make in it with food coloring.
The baseball gum used to do it. The baseball gum people used to make it. I should do that to my kids this year.
Let's just go up and eat it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them plastic grass, and then I'm just gonna like go ham on some edible grass, and they're gonna.
That is a parent. That's a parent right there after a award. You
Yeah.
know what? If I had an award, I would absolutely do an award. Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's gonna be a good time.
You know what your kids are going to say?
Oh, God!
Yeah.
Oh, God, please, no! No!
My youngest would probably be like, my middle would just scream because that's all she does. She's feral.
She's feral.
She's feral. Yeah. 100%.
I just, man, that would, You know what? I might do that to my daughter.
That would be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, then we would get her to scream, "Oh no, no, no!"
I have a really cool haunt concept that I'm probably going to throw in the next year or two, and I might need to stock up on edible grass. Yeah.
We created a monster.
This is
So we actually have old Easter bunny costumes.
You better go lay down.
I don't breathe enough.
He must have heard I was going to prank him.
I don't know.
Okay, go. I'm turning on a new one. Go, go, go. Okay, go.
Just so you know, this is parenting. We haunters love our children.
Oh, yeah. But look, we get the right to prank them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. By the way, just for clarity on everybody, if you're going to be a parent that says, okay, we are going to figure out, I can't wait until this kid gets to this age, and then we can create this character into their life. Do not forget about a tooth underneath someone's pillow for any time of amount. One night is okay, but a month. I just heard somebody say that they accidentally forgot to do that for a month.
Oh, no. We just lost our first tooth 2 Thursdays ago, and it was an ordeal. Like, it was a big old deal. And she made a comment to me. She's like, what if the tooth fairy isn't real and it's just your parents replacing the tooth with money? And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. I guess you're not getting any money because I know the tooth fairy is real. She was like, yeah. So the next day there was like a sparkly $5, and then there was a present with a letter from the tooth fairy for the first tooth, and it was all sparkly. And she's like, I have my own personal tooth fairy. This is crazy. Like, I knew she wasn't fake, and I'm like, that's right.
I feel like a cheap ass. My daughter got $1.
Oh, and I was like, I only got a quarter. And my fiance was like, inflation's real. She can't even go to Dollar Tree with a quarter. And I was like, so it was like a first tooth thing, but there was like a whole, like, she got the $5, and then she came out and there was a gift with like 3 or 4 little things like keychains and slime or whatever, and a letter from the tooth fairy talking about her bravery, and she'd be back when more teeth were due, and it was signed like, your tooth fairy sparkles, and she's like, I get my own tooth fairy. It was, yeah, glitter hairspray, everybody.
You know what, Steven? I'm really believing that what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to go and look on Amazon, get myself some fake wings, and I'm going to bust in there on Saturday. And I'm going to be the tooth fairy that's competing with the Easter bunny.
I have some.
Sparkly wings?
I do, because last year I played Cupid for Valentine's Day. I don't even know if you, I know you weren't there. I don't even know if you've seen the pictures or not. I have threatened my kids to go to and if they acted up, I am going to their school dressed as Cupid.
My God.
And I'm talking, I did Benny Hill Cupid with the pink leotard, the wings, and the curly blonde wig. Now, I know you can't see because I don't have a webcam. I'm fat. And my gut hangs down. I will wear the tutu. I will wear the tutu. I will wear the wings. And I will go embarrass the shit out of my kids if they act up in school.
Oh, we talked about like flash mobs and everything. We are going to embarrass our children at school one day. We look forward to it.
I've warned them that working at the dungeon, there are about 80 people I can bring with me.
Yeah, mobs.
And the oldest is 18 and going to CTC for diesel mechanic. Yeah.
Oh Lord,
He'll love that.
That would be funny.
So I'm going to see if I can get this put in here, and if not, I'm going to have to send it.
There's
to the right
edible
person.
glitter at Walmart. Like you could just dump edible glitter all over something.
Oh, Fred would hate me.
It's like water soluble. I mean, it's edible.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, Fred would kill me because I'd be horrible with that.
I'm sure you caused plenty of chaos.
Chaos. So I'm going to see if I can send this picture to someone and see if they can fix my problem here. So this is, if I can get this up, this is a shirt. And I kid you not, it is a shirt design that my people my people from my haunt has submitted into their school for them to be able to have this. And I'm just telling you, if I can get this picture put up there, it's, oh my gosh. Because my darling wife got a hold of my phone and she put how I was just feeling like I could be a pretty fairy princess or something like that on Facebook, and everybody responded to it.
That's funny.
Aha. I can get it. Yeah, it's... Here we go. This was sent to me. This is their submission for them to have as their field day shirt.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That's
That is
hilarious.
absolutely
because
the story with this, and I will tell you, is I did a activity at halfway to Halloween event for OHA in Columbus. And when I did it in Columbus, after that, I decided we were going to go to Golden Corral. We went to Golden Corral. When we went to Golden Corral, I was just like, wanting ice cream. And when I wanted ice cream, I was just like, yeah. But I had to stand in line, and there was these kids, and I love children, but these kids were letting their friends cut in front of me just so they could get ice cream. And it happened like 5 kids. So I'm standing there just wanting a small little bowl of ice cream. I'm being so patient. And these punk children from my haunt absolutely took pictures of me and posted it on Facebook saying, when the big guy wants ice cream, he looks like a little kid.
And you let them live.
I did. I love.
I'm an ice cream aholic. I'll admit it.
Well, we are halfway through the show. So, Connie, I'm going to ask you, are you going to take off? Or are you going to stay for another round of us doing this for another hour of randomness?
It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you want.
Hey, no, this is absolutely you. You're more than welcome to take off, or if you want to stay and do the craziness for another hour. But we have a 3-minute break that we have to take because someone's got to pay for something, and I don't know who it is, but they're paying for something.
Hey.
So we're going to take a commercial break for 3 minutes, and I don't know what we'll do in 3 minutes, but we'll be right back.
Be doing something. All right.
Greetings and shabebans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh. And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
This is Maximus Christian Bryant with the Ohio Haunters Association, president, and you are watching Chainers Haunted Secrets on the Owl Light Network.
I love that, Ginger. I'm just going to say it. I love it. So,
I was going to tell him he got brought up in a seminar at Transworld.
Ooh, really?
He did.
You know what? Now would be the perfect time to really, absolutely. What for?
I was in a seminar that Bud Strauss was doing on basically revenue streaming, and he ended up bringing up Pumpkin Smasher as like an icon character and something different that, and explained to everyone in the seminar how people bring things for him to smash or whatever. But he was talking very highly of Max as a person and as a character.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would feed his ego even more. So we're back, and let me pull this back up because we can here. We are absolutely looking forward to April 19th. 'Twas the night or the day before Easter. Isn't that the day that the Easter Bunny is supposed to be like shoving eggs around? No, he comes during the night, doesn't he?
It's just so nice to see that poster not say 2024.
Who was the first one to point that one out?
I think it was you.
Well, did I beat everybody on that one? Because I was
I think you did. Yeah.
So as soon as you posted that, I just looked at it as like, I missed it.
You're like, this is
the second year? This is on a Thursday. Wait, hold on here.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh. So I will tell you right now, I'm going to switch it a little bit from what we have been talking about, the randomness. And we have all had storms just absolutely devastate a lot of places, a lot of things. And I will tell you right now, it has been absolutely horrible. And I was talking to somebody today about USS Nightmare. And I asked him, I said, if USS Nightmare was running right now, would you be able to do the show? And they said, yes and no.
Can't get there.
Okay. And they said, we float. So whatever the level is, we float.
Right.
Our parking lot is underwater.
Yeah.
So this USS Nightmare, in the off season, it is actually located on the Ohio side of the Ohio River. During the running show, it is transported down the river and docks. And where it docks right now has got so much water that the flood status was, I think it was at 60 feet.
I think we're up higher than that now. I believe I just saw like 60.9 something. I don't know. There's a 6 and a 9 in the number.
So, anyway, it was supposed to crest on Tuesday. They found out it was going to crest on Monday. It started retreating, but just so everybody understands, I am a professional truck driver. You know, I got a CB and a mic and everything. One of the loads that I've been going to has been right off the river. I picked it up on Tuesday or on Monday, and I picked it up on Tuesday. So I seen that the river went down about 6 inches from Monday to Tuesday. When I was on my way today, they said that there is stuff that we're supposed to pick up, and it's on barges. Unfortunately, the conveyor belt that takes it off the barge is underwater.
Paycor Stadium's flooded.
The parking areas and everything around that area is just absolutely devastated. So, I was talking to other people. I said, you know, how much flood damage are we actually talking about? And they said, well, if your haunted house, your haunted field, your haunted whatever is right now underwater, it's going to be underwater for a while. So got me thinking, you know, we know that we're in a flood zone, that if the creek comes up, we're going to flood. That's why we put all of our power boxes up. And if we get flooded and it runs our cords, our plugs are supposed to be up where the extension is.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't do that. We will have to wait 2 days or something like that. If we can get stuff to dry out. Yeah. I know for a fact that a whole bunch of haunted houses have these problems. There's one that was in Cleveland area that they got flooded on the Friday right before I was going up to Cleveland to go to Factory of Terror, which Factory of Terror is trying to get a hold of OHA and possibly be able to do something up there. That'd be awesome.
That's cool.
But everything, when it comes down to it, I might have seen this totally too late, but you know what? I'm sorry. I'm bad. I am not Friday. I do not pay attention to all this stuff. I'm looking deep into the sewer dweller's eyes. Even the one in his candy or his ice cream. But
you guys
that one pop out and hit you in the face. So,
did you see Channel 12 where that Kentucky restaurant gave them the info that they flooded their restaurant with fresh water to keep the Ohio silty water out? And I'm like, your insurance is not going to cover you now. That was the stupidest thing you could have posted or let the news pick up. They filled it with fresh water so they wouldn't have to deal with all the dirt and grimy crap from the Ohio River. And I'm like, you posting that, just hold your insurance. The news is broadcasting this as a big story. Your insurance is going to say you flooded your restaurant. The river didn't flood your restaurant. Yeah. I was just like, what? What?
Okay, I hope that at no point someone has ever said I am going to flood my restaurant with fresh water to keep the salt water out of the Ohio River. The Ohio River does not have salt water, number one.
No, they said silty.
Oh, okay. I thought you said salty, and I'm like, okay.
No.
What? Well, one of the concerns with the Ohio River, actually, somebody told me, was that they're afraid that the one shark will actually go up the Mississippi River to the Ohio.
This is, you probably can't see it. This is what they did. They filled it with water and gave it to Channel 12 to post about to keep the Ohio River water out so they wouldn't have all the dirt and grime from the Ohio River. And when they go to that window, like you can see the Ohio River against it, like all the brown water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Garrison, you need to go to this restaurant and tell them, George Biden, okay?
I would rather the Ohio River destroy everything in my restaurant and me get paid for it than to flood it, destroy all my things, and not get paid.
You know, I would like to say something like this shocks me, but I'm being from Virginia and being through so many hurricanes in my life. I knew people who would go outside during the hurricane and would say, "We need new siding." And they would go out and just start ripping the siding off of their house. Like the insurance people couldn't tell the difference of siding that's been blown off versus ripped off.
Right. Oh my God. That's like people burning things down and being like, oh, it just happened.
All right. Let me ask you this. Did you hear the story that the Amish messed up the National Weather Service?
Yes! That was crazy. I couldn't believe that.
The National Weather Service was going out and looking at the storm damage, and it took a couple of days to get to this because there was a massive outbreak, and they said that their findings could not properly be done correctly because the Amish rebuilt everything that they had damaged in the storm.
Yeah, and that was structural repairs and roof repairs that they fixed within like the 48 hours.
Jesus
that was crazy.
Criminy.
Yeah.
Gosh, be golly, you did a great job.
Yeah,
But,
that tornado will never get rated.
With the Amish around, the tornado don't stand a chance.
I live in Amish country, and if the world goes, they gonna be standing. Wild.
Why the heck would you fill up your place with fresh water?
I don't know. I couldn't believe that because, like, here I am.
How are you filling
Right.
it up? Are you matching the level as it goes?
I don't know. Like, I don't get that. Like, I have rewrote our entire business plan for our haunt due to like the storm of like lawsuit things and insurance things. Now, thankfully, knock on wood, we've not dealt with that, but like I've rewritten it to like protect us from all these things and thinking about where do we shelter people, all the fun things you have to do as a haunt. And I've been like a stickler about a lot of it. And so I saw that and I'm just like, do they not even know the basics of how insurance works? Like, insurance is looking for that reason to not cover you. Oh my God.
Self-inflicted damage.
To prevent damage. Not what I would do. And then to give it to the news. Like, okay, sure, you did that. But then to give it to the news. Restaurant floods restaurant to keep the silty Ohio River water out.
Okay, this is going to be a very unorthodox show versus what we usually do, but here's my comment. Hey, honey, you might want to put another gallon in here. That river went up an inch. Good Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they hooked a hose.
Was this the Ohio side or the Kentucky side?
Kentucky.
I'm not judging. Not judging.
Well, we're all thinking it.
No, my money would have been on the Ohio side, in all honesty.
Well, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Living in Dayton, I've met some very special people.
I used to live in Middletown. I get it.
I just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me.
It's crazy.
Okay, I take great pride in being a realist. And that might not be a terminology at all. It might be something I've made up for the years. But a realist, in my eyes, is a person that takes the real items and puts it into their thought process. And nowhere in my thought process would be, I need to go ahead and make sure that the water that's outside my house doesn't come in. So I'm going to fill up my basement.
Yeah, you might as well not pay for an insurance policy at that point. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? I want to see the insurance adjuster for this guy.
I'm hoping maybe the news will cover it because that's just...
Oh, that would be fun. That'd be so funny. I would just die laughing.
Can we get the insurance guy on a podcast?
Oh my gosh.
You know what you need for this story? Remember the scene in Naked Gun, I think it was the third one, where they kept cutting back to everybody slapping their heads?
Oh my god.
All right. I got something here. And I apologize to everyone. You know, no judging at all. But I'm just gonna play this, okay? This will sum up my entire thought process when you told me this and then you showed me.
No! No! God! No! God, please,
That's
no!
what I thought.
No! No! No!
Hopefully they're very successful and they can pay everything out of pocket. Their water bill and their damages.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about the water bill. Dude, they could have had free water plus insurance.
All that equipment, industrial equipment. Hey, you know, I might reach out. I need a new scene at the haunt. I'm going to invite them to the haunt swap.
Oh my gosh. Hey, according to the health department, what's one item in your house that you are not allowed to sell secondhand if it's been removed out of the box?
According to the health department?
According to the health department, there is one item in your house that you cannot resell.
Would it be the toilet?
It is.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is.
And I was like, what? Now, have I found that as being have I found that in a document? No. But someone from the health department told me that, and I said, huh? And they said, yeah, yeah. I said, do you go around to garage sales and tell them that they cannot have that? And they said,
they're scrolling Facebook
yes.
Marketplace.
And the thing is, I can understand. If it's been, someone said if it's out of the box, you cannot resell it. Someone said if you have installed it, it cannot be. Either way, you know, you just buy the toilet, be happy with the toilet.
Or just throw it away.
Since we're bringing up toilets, I stayed at a hotel when I was up in Cleveland. And when I went into this hotel, there was questionable things, but nothing killed me more than the toilet seat. The toilet seat was smaller than the toilet. Yeah, that's exactly my face right there. So, if you go up to the if you go up towards Akron and this and that,
is it Red Roof Inn?
No, they had a baby turtle named Michelangelo, and the person had no idea why anybody would name it Michelangelo.
What?
So they've lived under a rock for like 30 years.
Yeah. Like I could have put that together at 4 years old. So with the toilet thing, if someone goes to sell a camper RV, they gotta rip their toilet out according to the health department? Like,
no, that is not a addition. That is part of the actual unit. A addition is actually taking something that can be detached and replaced. It just, yeah, I totally, trust me.
but it's like if they want to say that, then it's like when you sell a house, like it feels like you would be required to replace the toilet.
Some people do.
Yeah.
I kid you not. You want to raise your price, you put in there that you put a new toilet.
Yeah.
Kid you not.
You don't want other people's germs or diseases?
The question is, why are you selling it at a garage sale?
If you're done with your toilet, just be done with your toilet.
I mean, one of the first haunts I worked for bought a toilet from a yard sale, but we just put a flamethrower in it, so...
Kings Island had a whole like bathroom scene with plexiglass, so you could like punch the walls and stuff in it. I mean, we have a very nasty toilet at our haunt, thanks to Amber. She put a concoction that made it unbearable to walk through, but it's in an RV. It's very gross.
The dungeon technically had a toilet too, but we got rid of that scene, but we did have a toilet in I guess the shit scene.
Oh, that makes sense.
But were you buying toilets or were you just getting toilets?
So they bought it at a garage sale.
Yeah, no, the one at the original haunt that I worked, one of the original first haunts that I worked for, we bought it from a yard sale, and then the owner just put a flamethrower in it, so that shot out.
Okay, but there again, I will point out that this is not a toilet that you are going to use.
Install.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if you want to jump on Marketplace, there's toilets.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Vintage sink combo pink toilet, $500. That's a steal.
I mean, if there's one thing I'm going to splurge on,
it's going to be a blue toilet, not a pink one.
So that was just told to me years ago. Maybe that person just had something about toilets in the health department that they were not okay with. You know what? There's a lot of people that are not okay with things. I know you can sell silverware. You can properly clean silverware. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to properly clean a toilet. And toilets are one of those. Why in the heck? Can we get off of this subject? This is starting to get kind of shitty. Just saying. But yeah, oh man. So you actually have a haunted house that's in your neck of the woods that they're going to be open for Easter. Necropolis.
Oh, okay. Really?
Necropolis is open for Easter, and I remember going there for Valentine's Day and then turning around and going back for their Easter.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually got to meet one of the Rotting Tail costumes.
Yeah.
This thing is what I have told my child for many years is going to be the Easter bunny that takes you away if you don't clean that godforsaken room.
Our kids are terrified of Alexa and Krampus. If I yell Alexa or if I yell Krampus, they immediately do what they're told. I don't know. Like, we don't have an Alexa, but they are terrified of her. You cannot yell, "Hey Alexa," or anything. They are scared to death. They will take off running. If I have a problem with them going to bed and I yell, "Hey Alexa," dude, they're gone. They're laying down.
You know, Steven, I'm going to ask you this question since she brought up Alexa, and we're talking about haunts. How many people are going to put their Moxie in haunted houses this year?
Their Moxie? I don't know what a Moxie is.
Oh, either.
It's that little robot that was supposed to be condemned, and
Ooh.
And have you seen Megan 2.0 trailer?
Is it the little one that you can drive around from like remotely and like talk to people?
No.
Oh.
So Moxie is a little robot that is supposed to be like a friend you can talk to, and
oh Jesus. I just brought it up.
Yeah.
That thing's terrifying.
Are we talking about Necropolis?
It's like Indianapolis, isn't it?
It is
Hold
in
on,
Indianapolis.
I'm looking at the robot.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of bad at this. Gently use... No, we will never gently use a toilet. If Taco Bell exists, that is not gently used. There's no gently used toilet. I'm a bigger man. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. I don't know if I've been to Necropolis. I think I've been to the one that's up there that Scare Factor uses for their party. Is that Nightmare on Edgewood?
Yeah, I think that's the one they use.
Yeah, I've been to that one. But I haven't been through it while they were live. I got there and then like the owners gave me a tour of all the scenes because they had already closed.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I had the chance to go to Necropolis once, but we had to pass because it was during Days of the Dead convention, and we were going to the concert that night.
Is Necropolis a touch haunt? I know Nightmare on Edgewood is.
Okay, every haunt is a touch haunt when I walk through. I'm sorry. People like to touch me.
Dude, try walking through with a bald head.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I didn't touch people as an actor at a non-touch haunt, but I've also been a very big part of a touch haunt. But
so when we went up to Factory of Terror, I walked up, and this person comes up to me, and it's St. Patty's Day, and they're like, "I don't see a bit of green on you at all." He goes, "Don't worry, I got you." And I looked at him, I said, "Well, I kind of like my OHA." And he goes, "Oh, do you now?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "What's that in your hand?" I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for this guy." And he goes, "That's that guy right up there." I looked at him. I said, "I have something for you." And he goes, "You got something for me?" I said, "Yeah." And I handed him his envelope. And he goes, "It's my award. It's my award. Not yours. You're not getting it. It's mine." And he goes running off. And he comes back up. And he goes, gives me a big hug. And he goes, "Man, that is awesome." And he went flying. He was so happy to, just have that moment where he got that award. And it was just like, hey, man, I'm glad that you got the award. But yeah, I mean, I was up there, and outside of the usual haunting season, it just seems like you find out who your passionate people are.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he was a very passionate person, and later on we got her together, and he was just so happy to have that award.
That's cool.
I will tell you right now, I absolutely think people are wonderful to take to haunted houses with me. But I will tell you, unfortunately, and I will say this, unfortunately, do not go with me if you don't like haunted houses.
Yeah. So when we were shut down for weather, when it was like hurricane and it just wasn't safe to have our guests there, that was like September 27th-ish. We went up to Columbus and we hit Carnage, Fear Columbus, and Haunted Hoochie. And it was a smaller group that went to Haunted Hoochie, but the owner, the one owner, he hasn't really been to haunts. So we were like just taking him to these haunts. We take him to Haunted Hoochie, and he was not aware. He was not aware of what that entailed. So I grabbed an actor and I was like, hey, that man right there says you won't do shit. And he goes, really? He takes Chad by the nipples, twists them, and throws him into another room. I am dying. And when Chad gets scared or like uneasy, he starts yelling and laughing really loud and like high pitched. It was just a whole moment. And he was dying. And he was like, what was that? Haunted Hoochie was a great thing to experience watching him. It was a good time.
Oh my gosh.
He will tell you, I'm the dumb ditch digger. I don't know haunts. Like, it's going through Connie or whoever. But yeah, he just says he's the dumb ditch digger. He doesn't know what's going on. It's just he got thrown into the industry. So we're like, well, we got to throw him into some more. We got to take him to these haunted houses. Watching him get scared is just the best time. Like, he turns into this little girl, and it's a great time. And he tries to make like witty remarks. Like, he tries to not be like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a good time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I will tell you, when I go through haunts, and you're going to go with me, do me a favor, understand that they're going to recognize me. And if they don't recognize me, someone's going to figure it out.
Someone will.
And when they say, oh, no, we're not a touch haunt, you walk with me, it becomes a touch haunt.
Yeah.
You just unlocked a new achievement because
I think
it's
that
fair game
happens
with
even
me.
when they realize the group is like haunters. Like, things just kind of like come off the table.
Well, that's what I thought for a long time. But the thing is, a lot of people don't recognize me as being a haunter. They recognize me being part of the OHA, and then all of a sudden it becomes let's see if we can mess with that, which is fine.
Recognize me.
But someone used a prop that does not do anything, and they took it and they smacked me in the head one haunt.
Oh my God.
It was funny. They're like, ha 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 at the one group, and then they see me and they're like, oh, bam! She's a criminy.
Oh my God.
It's like, boy, I did something wrong here. So that's just one of my things. When you go through a haunt, be respectful. But when you go through a haunt and you see me, just say hi to me. Don't smack me in the face.
Don't abuse me.
But you know what? I had a great time out there. I mean, Haunted Hoochie, that was very interesting to go through when I went
They took a baseball bat to the back of my knees and I fell to the ground. That was the only part that I just wasn't a fan of that.
They used a chainsaw up and down my leg, and I told him, I said, that's a baby chainsaw. Why don't you get a little more throttle going?
They had me in a headlock with 3 chainsaws. I was like, okay.
I mean, I've had people do some really seriously ridiculous things to me at haunts, and I just tell them, fair game.
Haunted Hoochie's one that just like mind boggles me. Like, how do you get around insurance? How do you not get lawsuits? Like, they're doing something right.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Absolutely.
They got a good policy.
Haunted Hoochie is one of those very interesting ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people don't know too much about them.
I love the way that they handle like community crisis or like PR crisis. That they are entertaining.
Oh yeah, oh man, they just
They don't.
I love their comments.
Yeah. I like the signage all the way to the ticket booth. Like, this is not for kids. It's not for adults. It's not for anyone. Turn the fuck around. Like, why are you here?
Oh yeah.
My favorite.
There was one sign that said, "We are not responsible for anything. And if you think we are, you did something wrong." And I was like, oh my, what is this?
Yeah.
And the thing is, as soon as I got my tickets, and the person I went with got his ticket, and we sat there, and Haunted Hoochie is such a extreme haunt. And when I say extreme, I mean from the first scene until the last scene, they are right there. They are trying their hardest. My acting skills, I'll take it to a different level, and I've had very, very questionable ethics on me, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
When it comes down to like Haunted Hoochie, that's awesome. I'm not going to lie, it's a really good one.
I want their plane.
That was shipped from from a set scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Their sets are immaculate. I love their dragon. I love their bridges. I love their airplane.
Do not convince Haunted Hoochie to put you in a group that's bigger than 6 people.
I know. They always Congo line every time I'm there.
Do not. As much as you want to, do not let them put you in a group that's bigger than 6.
You always end up in the back of the group trying to watch the scenes, which can turn
and
wrong.
Then they shut off by the time you get to them.
Yeah.
Like the dragon or the dinosaur or whatever the heck the one was.
With all the eggs.
He shut off. And I was like,
He's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. They always Congo line. Like, that's the one thing about them that I never was the biggest fan on is, like, every time I've been, it's a Congo line haunt. And they, like, don't care. Like, you can complain all you want. You're gonna go with this group of 50.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what?
And they won't let you, I don't know. You used to be able to pick. At least I remember being able to pick before. But now it's like you have to go through the main haunt and then you can go through the clowns. You cannot choose to do clowns first.
The one thing I will tell you about what I wish that haunts would do is figure out a better 3D glasses.
Yeah.
I wear glasses. I can't wear your glasses. I take my glasses off, and I am worse than Velma. I can't see.
I think they need to be plastic too. Like trying to keep a paper 3D glass on is just no.
Right. I mean that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Steven, I don't know if have you ever had any problems like that?
With the 3D yeah, the paper ones they fall off a lot. I don't wear glasses or anything, but they do fall off quite a bit.
You have to literally hold them to your face for them to work. You can't even set them on because they don't sit right enough to be 3D. You have to literally like pull them to your face.
I always end up carrying mine and then like putting it on to go, oh, look, that looks pretty cool. And then I take them off because I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
I just, when it comes down to 3D things, I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
But I do not love the fact that I wear glasses and unfortunately I got a bigger head. So those are two negatives.
If you could take the idea of the COVID like shield and like implement it that way.
Oh, I don't think I would want that. That would stretch
like,
it
the
out.
shield in front of it would cover all your vision.
Gosh. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on some of these ideas for a 3D virtual haunted house?
Like in person or like something you can download?
Well, both, because there's a thing where a company is trying to get out there a little more, but there you've got the VR headset where you can rent going through it for a price.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They tried to do something like that with roller coasters a few years ago, where you could get on the roller coaster, put the VR headset on, and you would do some kind of story inside the headset while you were riding the roller coaster. And I'm not gonna lie, it failed miserably.
I'll tell you this much. I have an Oculus and I have the PlayStation VR, and I mean I can play all of 10 minutes before I am just relentlessly motion sick.
Yeah, my kid won't put it down.
I don't know how they do it because, like, I tried to build up that endurance, and I don't get motion sick at like amusement parks. I love them, but like I get sick on the VR.
It's one of those things. Once again, I got glasses. Does it work on my fat face?
My kid wears glasses, and he never has a problem. But he's got a pretty big head too. So
these lenses are like thick, and they've got all kinds of settings for like near sight, far sight. I feel like they're pretty adaptable, but as far as like a virtual setting, I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
I mean, as an actor, I'm not the biggest fan of it just because
you're taking.
I like the interaction.
Yeah. If I'm going to a haunt, I want to be at a haunt, but like I get it, like the revenue streaming, but I also feel like you're appealing more towards the younger crowd that's been raised on a screen and they like that screen. I don't know. I think that maybe if it's like an off-season thing, like, you know, you could almost host it like if you had the money to like a podcast, like each week we're coming out with this virtual episode type thing maybe, but I don't know that I would want to have to man a VR station, risk putting that on everybody's face and cleaning it in between, and then just like the technology itself. Right. That's expensive technology.
What they were talking about is that you have a VR at your house.
Mm-hmm.
In this VR, you can rent.
Yeah.
So you would be able to rent going through there. Okay. Here's the kicker. They're looking at this as being a possible way to make a virtual reality 3D experience, or having a camera that can go and get all pan videos and all the monsters and actors and this and that coming at you. And you've got to watch this show, basically. And however you turn is however this is. And they're looking at it through the people that are not able to go to haunts. As
I can see that. I mean, it almost comes out as like a video game, but then it's like if you want this to be like an ongoing thing, you have to find a way to like either keep putting out content, or how do you make sure that it's, you know, not a one-time rental and then everyone's just sharing that? Or are you making it you can walk through it one time and then you got to pay for it again? I think there's a lot that goes into that.
Right. And you know, this was shot around, and I came and heard about it, and I'm like, that's very interesting. I know different people that are less than able to do many things. So this might be a possibility for them that, hey, I love the haunt industry and I lost a leg. Hey, I love the haunt industry, but I cannot go through it. It's just one of those things. It's very interesting on, hey, are you going to be able to do it this way? And the question was, you know, can you have two people in the same room register it, and you can see the people go through? And that was a possibility. And, you know, it's very interesting how technology is absolutely coming through and doing different stuff. I mean, everybody has been on the buzz. And when I say on the buzz, I mean, we have absolutely been on the buzz for the last couple of days, just watching where scientists and chemists and this and that have made not exactly clone, but on these direwolves. So I mean, we have technology there being able to do this. I don't know about the haunt industry, but I think that there would be something for that.
But I think it would be one of those things that like you either have to continuously bring content for it to stay viable finance wise, or you would have to just recognize that you're selling this game one time.
Right. And
I mean, like, if you look at Universal Studios, all their rides are a virtual reality.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that their rides are insane. But again, the money with that technology, oh my God, if we only had that.
Yeah, I mean, they just opened that entire monster area, and
Yes. So I
that
took
made-
a seminar at Transworld from the vice president and a panel of his team from Universal on how to scale seasonal events. And I mean, if anyone can scale a seasonal event, it's Universal. But me and the vice president talked after, and he gave me his card, and he told me, like, let's email and talk about you coming down the second week of Universal Studios, and I'll give you a tour on like the makeup room, the wardrobe thing, the haunts. And I was like, oh my God, I ran back to the show floor like with his card like shaking. I was like, no freaking way.
and
But they-
that's
They're
pretty
opening
big. That's
a Las
awesome.
Vegas event. Have you guys seen that?
What's that?
Have you guys seen the Las Vegas location they're opening?
I have seen some of the stuff, but
Yeah, so they
I-
gave us insights on that. They're basically opening a venue that is Halloween Horror Nights all year round. It's a year-round
Oh, boy.
event. It's basically a 100,000 square foot warehouse that the theming around it is they put all these supernatural charged items from sets. Like they film all these scary movies and they throw the gear somewhere, and eventually it opens these shadow realms because all of this charged energy. So they said it's, if you just rush through it, it's a 2-hour thing, but you can stay the full 8 hours, whatever you want, however you want to do it. But there's basically 4 warehouse scenes and 4 other realm scenes, and each realm has a different theming to the bar, to the food, to whatever. But there's like 8 different things, and then they have the space to, like, if they came out with a new movie, to add a realm into that movie. But it's a year-round event, and it
Yeah.
opens August 14th.
Yeah, it's opening in August, like a couple of weeks before Halloween. I've talked about this on my show a couple of times.
Okay.
And there's like 3 haunted houses. There's a food place. There's a store. You can spend the entire damn night here if you really want. If you really wanted to. In all honesty, it looks amazing. I haven't seen pictures or anything yet, but
Yeah.
it does look amazing.
They showed us some stuff on it, and then they told us like basically how they did the marketing for it, why they chose the name and different things. But they said it's like 4 warehouse scenes, 4 haunted house scenes. It's not like set up to be just individual events, but basically you're going through these scenes. Now you can choose to do everything once or unlimited, but they said if you just like go through the event, it's basically a 2-hour process, but you could stay for 8 hours depending on how fast you're moving. It's like
Yeah,
self-paced.
Because like one of the sections is supposed to be like Scarecrow, one of their characters from one of their more popular characters from Halloween Horror Nights. One area is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and another area, I think it was Saw.
They're doing a
one
circus theme, like they're doing a circus theme and bringing that one icon character back.
Oh yeah, I can't
It's
remember
not
that
Jack,
guy.
is it?
Yeah, it's that clown.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just going to geek out on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing is better to me than the person that played Jack, the original person. When they made it, when he came out and said, you know, this is this guy, here's this, they created this. He disappeared after the first couple years of doing it. He disappeared. And when he disappeared, they had so many people that was asking about Jack and why Jack's not here and this and that.
I saw they
were
rearranged it.
demanding it. The guy that played Jack came back and said, all right, let's do this. He did it for a couple more years, and they flat out told him, hey, we want this character. So the guy that played it said, yeah, you can have someone else do it. But this guy has been doing this, and Jack keeps on appearing, disappearing.
Yeah.
I mean, his show absolutely is absolutely full. Almost every show they do, and he is such a great actor, and no one expected this character to absolutely do what he does, considering he has no movie, there's no background, this and that. he just goes up to the gates and says what he says, and then they open the gates and he says, "Welcome."
Well, and they said
Horror
that's kind of how they structure everything for them. Is they said they want a clear beginning, middle, end, and they let their customers interpret the middle to that, because then the customers lead the lore and lead their own interpretations. So they said they try to, make sure it's a clear beginning, middle, end, but not go too deep into details to let the customers build that story, which is cool.
Absolutely.
And I try to stress that in like my team, because I'm like, guys, your 30-minute story on your character is really for you. You can't convey that 40-minute story in 10 seconds. Nope. Like you have to have, what's my bit? Why am I here? How am I conveying that to the customer in 10 to 20 seconds? That story, yes, have that for you. That builds your character and the improv of why you're there and what people might ask you. But like the story to them is 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes actors lose sight on that. They want it so elaborate.
And that's the thing, when Chainer was first introduced, Chainer had nothing. He had nothing. He just ran a chainsaw, absolutely destroyed everybody's hopes and dreams. Okay? Then the next place that Chainer showed up, and he started being a little more. Now Chainer is officially at Chainer's Field of Screams, but the place that Chainer was for years still has people asking.
That's cool.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they'll lie to him and they'll be like, yeah, Chainer's still here. No, Chainer's not.
No.
And the funniest thing is, you go through, and I went through, this is the first time, last year was the first time that I went through since I left.
Yeah.
So that was 7 years, 8 years, almost 8 years of me not going to this haunt. And when I wasn't there, we went through last year, and it was very interesting just on seeing how everything was.
Right.
And nothing, well, can't say that. A lot of things did not change. The direction of the travel was different. And the thing was, the one thing I will tell you is do not have a route that loops around, and as soon as the one person in the group goes and does that loop and they're coming back out of that area to go down a different path, and they tell the rest of the group, oh yeah, it's just a loop. Do not make that group, the rest of the group, go through the loop.
Yeah.
It's just unsensible. Now, that is, in my honest opinion, a irritation. Could it get worse? This place had 2 loops like that, back to back.
Have you been to the Haunted Cave?
Oh my gosh, I've been to the Haunted Cave.
12 doors that they can make all wrong.
Right. But this was a path. And they were telling you to go down this path. The path looped around, came back out the exact same thing.
There was a haunt in Middletown called Chambers of Horror, I think. Okay. And this has been a good 10 years ago, but it was called Chambers of Horror. It's like this little thing off, I think maybe Verity. And they had this room where all the actors are behind. There's like all these doors all the way around you. It's just doors. And all the actors are behind it screaming, pick a door, any door, pick a door. So you're like trying to open doors and actors in your face, slamming the door. I mean, this room lasted 10, 15 minutes of just screaming, pick a door at you, to the point you're like, okay, what's the door? Like, I've tried all the doors, and people were like pissed off. I thought it was funny, but I mean,
your gag can be so long before somebody's like, okay, I'm done with this.
Yeah. I was very little when my parents started taking me to haunts. My first haunt, I was 3 years old. It was Land of Illusion, actually, which ended up being the first haunt that I was employed with. But I was 3, and I vividly remember, like, just hating it. I hated haunts till I was probably, like, 10. And I would put, like, I had an ear warmer thing. I'd put it over my face. I remember on the Springboro Haunted Hayride, a monster pulled it off my face and was like, "Can you see me?" And to this day, I couldn't tell you what that monster looks like because I was going, "I can see you." And I pulled it back down, whatever. But Land of Illusion, we were up in the old farmhouse, and I have a twin brother. And this doll girl was just relentless. And my mom's laughing at first. And then my mom's like, okay, like, it's time to move on. And this doll girl is just going on us to the point my mom's like, enough. Like, we are leaving. But, I mean, there is a bit where it's just too long. I think some actors don't read the room.
We went to a haunt, and one of the main things in a haunt is safety. Absolutely safety, safety. You went through this maze, and this maze was made of 4x4s and sheet metal.
No.
The sheet metal was the walls.
So it's a cheese grater in a tornado. Nice.
So you get through this entire thing, and then you go into the next part of this maze, and you went up to this plastic pane, and it looked like a mirror, and I was like, oh, this is a double mirror.
Yeah.
You know, I can see clearly that there's something on the other side, just can't make it out because the light's not shining yet.
Yeah.
This music started blaring, and it was Let Me Ride the Donkey Donkey. If you don't know that song, look up Let Me Ride the Donkey Donkey, and just imagine,
oh my God,
a guy that is bigger than me that's in a thong dancing to this, and outside you hear the Let Me Ride That Donkey Donkey, and the light turns on, and here's this guy going,
oh my,
and I'm like, okay, that was different. Okay.
Yeah.
And my one person I was with looks at this and goes, what is that?
Yeah.
Is that a haunted house, or is that a horror house that just went to the dark side?
Yeah.
And I started laughing. This place, then you went into another section, and it was a couple hillbillies by this fire. Real fire. We're not telling you stay back from it or anything like that. Nope. They went and they were kicking cans around, and these were beer cans.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that they were just placed there? No, I'm pretty sure that these guys, yeah. And they said, well, you guys came here to die, didn't you? And we're like, no, we're just going to the next spot. Blew off a shotgun. Was it loaded? Blanks? Whatever. I don't know.
We blow a loaded shotgun off. I mean, it's blanks, but
yeah. So then
out of a porta potty.
You and porta potties.
Dude,
anyway,
we're bad with some porta potties.
Then we went to the next spot that was a RV. It was two RVs that were slammed together. One RV you went in, and you went in the side door, then you had to go through where the steering wheel was, and then as you were going through where the glass used to be, you would go into the next RV. It was different, but this guy had this speaker sitting up high, blaring music, and he's like jumping around in this RV, jumping around. All of a sudden, that speaker, boom, falls down, and I'm like, well, that was. He goes, that was supposed to happen. I said, oh, well, I thought that was the scariest thing.
Was this haunt in Washington Courthouse? Because I went to one very similar.
No. This was over near Greenville.
Oh.
So
there was one in Washington Courthouse that was very sketchy. They were a touch haunt. I think one of us left with a split head because we hit a tree, and there's blood, and they ended up getting shut down. but
Mommy,
they were
what's
called
that Ponty?
something horror. I don't remember.
Mommy.
This was Massacre Mills.
Interesting.
But then the last part was, as soon as you came out, it was muddy. At some point, there was some serious water. They had bags on the ground that were mesh bags. They were filled with something, but it was just nothing but a mud pit, and I couldn't tell you what it was. The final part, you went through this area that was metal and fencing and this and that, and they were going and they were doing the spark thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Would you believe those sparks were landing right in my hair and I could feel it? That wasn't from a spark wand. No. He actually was hulking up a welder and using the weld to go like that. So you would have sparks going everywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
So
did I say something about this? Yes.
Yeah.
Did someone believe me? They thought I was over exaggerating. And then this person had a conversation with me and went to a haunt with me. And he said, "Oh, I am so apologetic. I thought you were kind of judgmental on." No. This place was a safety hazard.
Yeah. So when I first joined Forsaken Forest, I thought I was out of the industry. I was like, I'm done. Like, the industry just, I wasn't getting what I needed out of it and whatever. And so I go up and I meet, at the time, there were supposedly going to be 3 owners. And so I'm asking everyone the questions I needed to know. And some of those things included, where do actors rank on your scale? Because the haunt I came from before just did not place actors. Actors were the very bottom. They were the pits of the earth. And I needed a haunt that said actors are a top priority. They make the show run. Like, I needed people that valued that. So then I'm like, okay, well, let's walk through your haunt and hear what you're thinking. Well, when they told me the dynamics, I didn't mean it in a bad way, but I was like, oh, you're the dreamer. Because this guy basically, he was just bringing ideas to the table. So we walk through and he's talking and he's like, I want a real sawzall to be cutting through the wood right here at the customers. And then I want them to drop the real sawzall, run around with a fake one and try to come after customers because they just saw him cut through wood. And I was like, no. And he was like, it won't look real if it's not the real sawzall. And I was like, no, you can put a slice in the wood and just make it look real. Like, I will not put my name anywhere near something that we're using a real sawzall. Customers, what if they forget to pick up the fake one? All these things. So he got real mad at me at that point. So then we go through and he's like, I want a skid steer to come out here, drive across the path right before people cross it. No, that's going to kill somebody. And needless to say, this guy is not associated with our haunt anymore, but I just was like, this dude is a walking hazard. I couldn't believe the things he was saying, but the other 2 owners were not going to go for it, but I'm just like, is this guy for real? Wanted a whole skid steer, drive right in front of the customers after they get scared to scare them again. I'm like, yeah, they're going to be scared. They're going to be missing limbs.
It takes one mistake for you to question everything, and safety's got to be safety on your actors have to be first. And the reason I say first, and let me be very clear, it's not that I think, oh, customers shouldn't be first. No, actors need to be first because they are the ones that are doing this repeatedly. They're the ones that, if I've got I got a bolt, I got a screw, I got something that's sharp, my actor's going to find it before the people do.
Yeah, they will.
Because they're in that area constantly, over and over and over again.
Ask Amber about the sheet metal that went from here all the way through. She had a fun one. That was all bad.
Mommy, what's that Ponty?
So I worked at a haunt where I kind of begged for a fence to be built because we were using a real headless horseman. And I asked for this fence to be built, and they said it took away from the scare and the aesthetic because this horse learned that he loved to scare, and he was getting right up on people. So we go through the first year, nothing happens. Second year, horse tramples 3 people and breaks a lady's neck. That fence looked real nice right about then.
Yeah.
But she didn't sue. She said, I can't wait till I heal and can come back. And I'm like, yeah, you want some free tickets? Like, I'll give you whatever you want.
And okay.
Never sued. I don't work there anymore. But yeah.
Well, as much as I want to keep this going, trust me, we could.
Oh, we
could. It is at the 2-hour mark, and let me just tell you, it's been a fun, squirrely episode. And when I say squirrely, I have to admit it's been squirrely.
Hey, that's true to the nature of haunting.
But I just want to thank you, Steven. I want to thank you for coming in. I just want everybody to go out and enjoy the haunted house season when we get here. But you don't have to wait until the haunted house season traditionally opens, because we all know that we are already ready to go, and we've got midway, halfway Halloween. We've got your Easter bunny attacking. We have criminy, a Friday the 13th that's coming around the corner. I'm still wanting to go and see if I can go and find who had the red, white, and blood for 4th of July. If I can find that one, I want to go to it sometime. But yeah, I mean, just because you're in a holiday doesn't mean that it's not going to be attacked by haunted houses. So we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time on Chainer's Haunted Secrets. Bye, everybody.
See you later.